All right, welcome to step 29. We're kind of getting into the home stretch here. Let's move into it. First things first, just to warn everybody, when we put these clips on the end of step 29 yesterday, we got this one on correctly and this one is on incorrectly. So what they should do is the butt end on this side should be even up with the support underneath, and this one I put on the front end. So how are we gonna deal with this? How can we do it? Well, we've got debonder. Put that on there. And I'm gonna help work it in right next to that. I put on way too much, but not too worried about it. I'm gonna take my handy dandy Q-tip to soak up most of it now. And then I'm gonna see if that was enough. Yep, that's enough. So I just pried that off. Mileage may vary, but that's how I do it. And all I have to do now is just basically put it there. So get my super glue. And wouldn't you know it, tip finally clogged. Just need a little bit of it, but oh well. Yes, it's a quiet pause as I sit and unclog my super glue, but now I've got a little bit. Just want to put just a thin coat, just a dab, just a little bit. It's more than a dab. So I'm going to take this and just remove some of it. There we go. That's more than enough. Now I want to orient this so that I can do this as easily as possible. And there we go. Simple as that. Fix the problem. Now, what's that for? That is for this platform. These go on this side, and I need F25 as well. I did not get F25 ready. How foolish of me. So, I'll go digging through my parts real quick, if you don't mind. I am not going to do you the disservice of intermission music from me or the computer. I'll just look for F25 as fast as I can. And there we go. F25 is right there. And I'm just gonna quickly, carefully nip it off and clean it up. Get it ready for this. Because this will help to verify that that's wide enough, which I probably should have done. And also notice that it was broke on the sprue. So apparently there had been enough stress on it to bust it up. So how do we deal with those problems? Well, first of all, it's not too bad. I can just put some glue on it and it'll be good. So I'm going to first clean this off with my hobby knife. In case you missed me doing all the cleanup, now you can clean up with me. First started doing this series of videos, I never ever thought it was going to take this long, this many hours to do all this. So, like I was saying a few videos before, if you buy this kit and you just want to work on a model and work on a good model, because this I think is a pretty darn good model. This is a good kit for you. You're getting your money's worth out of it. If you're paying, say, less than 150 bucks for this kit, then I say you're getting a great deal, because you basically get the equivalent of about 3 $50 kits in this kit. And you get to build a very, what would I say, not extravagant, but a very complicated but yet buildable kit that interacts with itself. Maybe it's more like it's kind of like building a one vehicle diorama. This kit has a lot of parts that go to it and tells a lot of stories just being itself. And that's just from us working on this tractor. But, look at all the complicated parts that we've built into it, and all the stuff, all the photo etch, all the detail, why it's there. As I said before, I've gotten my Class A license, so I had to actually know all this stuff on a real truck. And it's all here, except for the brake lines and the air lines, which can be added, and some of the airlines are here. It's all here. So, anyhow, the way this is set up, I trimmed these off, but those were the locating pins for, or the locating positions for the photo etch. I don't think that they're going to be helpful, so I trimmed them off. Anyhow. And then this piece goes right in here, like so. And it fits just fine, so everything's going to be fine. Although, actually, it's going to fit a little bit tighter, like that. But I'd rather have it a little bit looser in there than too tight. So what about dealing with the other side? Well, personally, because of the way that this is set up, I was going to, and what I would recommend is putting this photo etch piece right here on the part where it goes over the bolts, because that has to go in a certain spot. And then you can put this photo etch piece on the edge of this and this, and when you put that on, then this is already in. You square it up on the one corner with that, and square it up with that, and boom, you're square. I mean, it seems to make a lot more sense doing it that way. So that's my plan. And you can see if my plan is great or my plan is lousy. And if it's great, then this is what I meant to do all along. And if it's horrible, well, mistakes happen. And you don't have to follow in my footsteps. But there is that part. And that is secure with the glue. Now, the next hardest part is it wants you to bend this so that it basically matches this profile right here. You can see it right there. What I'm going to do right now, just to get this started gluing, set this apart, put some glue in there, put it together, let it start to cure while I'm doing this. So, got our folder. It does actually have the lines in here. I'm not 100% certain that that's going to be too helpful, but I'm going to fake it like it is. And this is where I really want my excuse me, this is where I really want to have my razor blade, because I really want to bend that up. Now, how does that bend? Actually, pretty decent. I think it bends a little too much. It should be a little bit tighter to the side, but this is about the best I can do. We really are asking a lot of the machine, or the tool, to be able to fold this up. But we're doing our best with what we have on hand. We know this. What I'm trying to do is set this up a little bit further away. See if I can get a better fold. I mean, this is really pushing the envelope as far as how this works. The point is that you end up with a folded part. Yeah, see, it only partially folded that. That's not good. So I've got to take my forceps, fold that back down best I can, and then put that in there and fold it. The problem is that you've got the texturing on the other side of the piece for the non-slip, and that makes it hard to work with. So once again, there we go. Now it's folded upright. And that looks relatively okay. It's a little bit larger on this side than this side. Let's see how it fits. And yeah, the problem with doing the glue and putting it on the paper is that there's enough with just a little bit of the glue there to make a problem. But honestly, I think that fits pretty good, because it folds right over the sides of the plastic, so that essentially this is touching, this cross beam is touching the photo etch, and the photo etch is on there. You'll get a little bit of a lip on that part that I overdid, but it's almost exactly perfect. I mean, you're talking tenths of a millimeter to change that. So I am just going to glue this on and call it good, and thank my stars that I didn't have to do anything else, like refolding it. And then finally, I glued from the underside. I'm just going to put some glue right in on each of these seams on the edge. Give it the maximum amount of chance to stick. So that's good. And again, as stated, we're going to glue that other piece on. I just had a different idea. What if, since I've got those pieces on, I did this and this, and push that to there, and then glued this piece on that edge. That allows me to line everything up a lot nicer, in my opinion. Otherwise, the problem right now is that that's on this suspension piece. That suspension piece has some thickness to it. That does not. See, there's the difference here between these two. There's no notch. There's no way to take that into account. There's no notch on this side. So I'd say that's probably a place where the kit screwed up a little bit. So I'm glad I didn't do that, attach that piece earlier. Now, if I'm going to glue this on just to start with, so then I can work with this, which might mean bending it in an L shape or something like that. I don't know. I don't really want to add any thickness to it. Anyways, let's get this part done first. What I'm going to do is put some glue underneath here so that the plastic can start gluing to the plastic. As such. Come from the other side and do the same thing. So now that frame underneath is starting to glue to the actual truck frame. Turn this upside down and put some glue in here, here, so that those two supports will start to glue to it. And then do the same thing on the side here. So that starts gluing to it. So right now, I've got the maximum amount of surface area covered with glue for putting that on. Yeah, the downside is, how am I going to do this? Because, I can just illustrate now what the problem is. What they would have you do is just glue this on the side. But now it's at an angle, which is wrong. That's not right. So, what I can tell you off the bat is you're going to want to get about maybe a 10mm piece of plastic, just something that you can shave a little bit and put underneath there if you don't happen to have styrene stock anywhere. I supposedly have styrene stock around here, but you'd think I'd be able to find it at a moment's notice. You never know. Give me a second here. But the main problem is you've got to find a way to fill underneath that and account for that particular issue that shouldn't really be there in the first place if they had been paying attention to what they were doing. Now, before it sounds like I'm really tearing into them, the company, for making the model, just remember that you can't make the perfect model. You try and do everything. So what I've got are two dots that I punched out of some material that are about, I'm going to say 0.8 of a millimeter thick. The important part is that they're about the same width as the photo etch piece, and they're two round pieces so they can look like spacers. We're going to have to deviate a little bit from the real vehicle. If I have to deviate from it, I want to at least do it in a way that might make sense. Like, for whatever reason, the real vehicle needed to have spacers put underneath them. And I need to be able to work with them when I'm dealing with this. Now, anybody that's actually worked with an M1070, of course, is going to tell you that this is wrong. That's not the right detail. That's not how this all goes. But we're doing the best we can to recover from a problem. And what we end up with is something that's not quite so bad. Once paint is on this and it's done, nobody's going to notice. And just from me moving things around, I'm getting a little, oh yeah, the fender has detached right in that spot, similar to what it has done in the past. So anyhow, at this point, we have this platform attached, which is basically step 29 right in here. A couple of pictures that give you an idea of what it looks like. I like how I did my assembly, my steps, because everything is level and square. And I was even able to detect a problem that I didn't know was a problem until we started building this. Just took a little bit extra work. Now, okay, why not just push that over a little bit more and make that flush? Well, then this tab right here would be spaced out from it and need to be linked. This is the best we got. So I hope you found that helpful. That's step 29. I will see you here for step 30. Have a good night.